And it's fun. I like watching breakfast television. They like to snap a lot.
It's attractive. And people jump
out of nowhere,
having that ready to go.
That's the speed he knows.
Come like this.
Yeah.
I feel like the world has moved away from the wokeism, right? Because it was just, there was such a correction. And as we're all moving away, they're still stuck. So before I show you that video, I just want to show you something else. To do the video, I went back onto breakfast television, and another video popped up. And it's two guys rolling around in the hay. And I'm like, see the thumbnail? I'm like, what's going on here? Why are there two guys playing with each other? And then I read the title. Here are the do's and don'ts when it comes to flirting in today's world. And I thought, well, I got to watch that. Sid is going to tell him, he's going to teach me how to flirt. So we got to click on it, see what kind of expert we got on today's show. I love it when they post content. I really do. And I enjoy the show. I like watching it.
Welcome back to Breakfast Television on this Wednesday. Meredith Shaw, Sid Cicero here with you.
What's going on?
A recent study found that Toronto is one of the top 3 Canadian cities that have no riz when it comes to flirting. Joining us this morning to tell us what riz is
expert,
and to give us a crash course in flirting, including the do's and the don'ts, is love and confidence coach Navi Bliss. Navi, it is blissful having you in this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know there's a decent size of the population watching this who knows what riz is. For the rest of us, how do you define riz? What does that mean?
I would define that as charisma, just being able to connect with people naturally in a way that is warm and welcoming as opposed to offensive.
That's your expert, guys. Okay. On flirting. She's going to teach you how to flirt.
So modern dating is different because in the past, dating could be very sexual. It was
Isn't dating still sexual?
Dating could be very sexual. It was okay to comment on people's bodies.
What's wrong with commenting? She just doesn't want you commenting on her body. And there's nothing wrong with her body. Okay? Nothing. I mean, if I'm going, I would give her a suggestion. I'm not an expert, but if I'm going on to a breakfast television, I'd probably wear something that fits.
It was okay to comment on people's bodies. And in the modern world, you can't do that. That can come.
You can't do that. You can't comment on somebody's bodies. You know what? I'm just going to tell you. It wasn't too long ago. I seen a girl, and I said to her, I like what you've done to your face and your body. She loved every second of my compliment, okay? My woman was sitting beside me, okay? She heard it. She liked it so much, because she's working hard on it. You could tell. So I commented on it. So you can comment on women's bodies. I don't know why I told you that. And you know what? Some girls doll themselves up so much, work on their bodies so much, they want to hear a compliment about their body. I can't believe I'm talking about this. And I can't believe I'm listening to this expert.
Across as sexual harassment, especially if
it won't come across as, okay, it's not going to, what I said does not come across as sexual harassment. What's going to happen to me? You know, I'm going to get arrested for sexual harassment?
you ever tried to flirt. And in the modern world, you can't do that. That can come across as sexual harassment, especially if you ever try to flirt with anyone in the workplace or any scenario like that. So you have to be more mindful. You have to pay attention to people's cues. You have to pay attention to body language. Are they receptive to you? And modern dating is really about creating warm openings, connections, and allowing things to develop naturally.
And it wasn't like that before. Okay, keep on going.
All right, so as I mentioned, do's and don'ts. We're going to walk you through a few of them here. Navi's got some great suggestions. Let's start with the things not to do when flirting.
So you want to be authentic in what you're saying to someone. If you're saying things that are not authentic, you're being cheesy, this is not going to lead to a genuine connection.
Thank God you told me that. What else do we got? Oh, don't avoid being pushy. I didn't know that. Oh, I can't push. Oh, this one. Look at this one. Avoid being fake. Oh, okay. This is clearly an expert to teach the mentally ill. Is this not obvious? Avoid moving around.
Sometimes people are just going to turn away and they're going to not be able to connect with you as a person. The other thing that you want to avoid doing is, again, making any overly sexualized comments about people's bodies. A really great thing to do instead would
like
be, and then you want to pay attention to see if someone is responding to you, right? If someone is leaning into the conversation, great, go forward. But if someone is pulling away or they feel awkward, that is not the time to press harder or to push harder or to go after that person.
Did you know that?
That is the time to take a step back.
Take one step back.
And then another mistake that I see people make
here
a
we go.
lot
It's a big
at
one.
parties
It's a
or
lot.
bars or things like that is they will circle the room
Circle like a
trying
dog.
to hit on different people. And this comes across as super,
do that.
super desperate, right? So they'll approach one person.
Sorry,
in
so
a-
that's not a good
No,
idea.
Sid, that's not a good idea.
That's
No,
Apparently
so the
not.
circling, yeah. Peroni,
For when talking
circling,
to others,
Peroni,
yes.
circling, yeah.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Okay, there you go.
Because people are paying attention, right? So if you're going up to one group and someone rejects you and then you go up to the next group and you go up to the next group,
How many groups does she have at her parties? So many different groups at different parties. Don't go up. Don't keep on getting shot down, guys.
that is not going to make
Especially if
people
the groups are 8 feet away from each other. That's a bad place to go.
Why am I
yeah,
doing
and
this?
the thing is, what makes you really attractive to somebody,
I don't even know why I'm doing it. Guys, if you're at Sunfest, don't keep on trying. If you get shot down, go back to your tent and go to sleep. Okay? Take a time out. You're looking desperate. If you get shot down, you give up.
Really comes from confidence and practicing, you say. We can actually practice how to flirt.
Did you
We
know
can
you
get
could
better at
practice
this.
flirting?
exactly. This is a skill that you develop, and you do want to start with yourself. You do want to start with your confidence. And another way that you can practice is just by flirting with the world, because I already talked about how you don't want to do sexual flirting in the beginning. You want to allow things
fun.
to develop naturally. And this is just about
Flirt with
warm
the world.
communication with people. So when you're at the cash register, when you're in line somewhere, when you're in the elevator, just
sure.
practice
Don't say nice hoots at the cash register, lady.
saying hello to people.
100%. We
Practice with the cash register, lady. Go to the grocery store. I'm not going to show any of this.